In the summer of 1993, there was one thing on everyone's mind: dinosaurs. The release of the film Jurassic Park saw audiences captivated as scientists cloned dinosaurs from DNA found in prehistoric blood using genetic modification. Well, what is genetic modification? Well, first we must recap DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, the blueprint of life stored in the nucleus of cells that holds instructions on how to build a functioning and unique organism. It's stored in double helix strands that coil tightly into X-shaped chromosomes. We use these chromosomes to pass on traits to our offspring, like brown eyes or curly hair. So when you look at modifying that DNA, it's just taking bits and pieces to cut and paste using enzymes like DNA ligase from one genome to the other. Recombinant DNA is a term for these artificially combined DNA strands from one or more organisms. Because the code of all living things is so similar, we can take out chunks and move them around. These same techniques, like cloning and genetic modification used by genetic engineers today, are the same ones used by the fictional scientists on Isla Nublar in Jurassic Park. One big instance of cloning and genetic modification is when we go to replicate the DNA strand we want to transfer. Through the use of plasmids, which are clumps of DNA that you would usually find in bacteria and outside of chromosomes, we're able to use the bacteria's characteristic multiplication speed to copy our DNA. So when we insert the DNA we want to clone into those plasmids and then into the bacteria, when they multiply and make perfect copies of themselves, they'll also make perfect copies of our DNA. Hey look, there I am growing bacteria in AP biology. Now let's get those plasmids into the organism we're trying to modify. One way is to use a gene gun, in which a gold particle is coated in our plasmids and shot into the cell to hopefully make its way into the nucleus. Another way is to modify a virus, or tumorous bacteria for plants, and replace the harmful traits that would normally be inserted into the sequence with genes for our desired trait. This way, when we introduce the strain into the population we wish to modify, the gene for the trait we selected will be inserted into the cell, not the viruses. So, you may be wondering, why is this all important? Well, it's not just for making dinosaurs. Genetic modification unlocks so many doors for humanity that we didn't even know existed a century ago. From creating drought-resistant grain, or to growing human tissue in a lab, or even to making larger, fat-free avocados for your toast in the morning. Now, with technology like this, one big concern is bioethics. Is this something we should even be doing? Now, with Jurassic Park, we see issues like pterodons attacking beachgoers or velociraptors stalking hikers. But in reality, we see issues with GMOs, like less nutritious produce, or issues with the agricultural industry because of patented crops. So, will dinosaurs ever rule the earth again? Well, life finds a way.